AITA, for not baking much for my family. I, 16 male, started dating my girlfriend 2 years ago. I also got super into baking around that time. I bake a lot. My girlfriend loves desserts. So I've given her a ton of stuff I bake, all kinds of different stuff. I often try to bake something new and then she gets to try something new. I honestly love baking way more than eating it. My girlfriend is the opposite. Well, recently she gave me a scrapbook she made. She had counted everything I baked her apparently, and she gave me this scrapbook after I baked her 100th dessert. It was filled with a picture of every dessert I baked and pictures of me baking and her eating. She wrote a paragraph about each item I baked. Each item was dated too. She had been working on this for 2 years. She also wrote a long letter on how proud she is of my baking hobby, thanking me for the sweets, and telling me how much she loves me. It was the sweetest gift I've ever gotten and I honestly cried. I showed my mom and sister expecting them to think it's cute, but they were pissed. They were angry I've spent so much time baking for my girlfriend and not them. I just got into this habit and I loved making my girlfriend happy as well since she loves desserts. NTA, you and your girlfriend sound sweet and your family sounds bitter. NTA, and your mom does indeed sound bitter. But mate, I am so happy your girlfriend cares so much, and that you give her something meaningful that takes time and effort. Time is the most expensive thing in the world. It is impossible to get more of it, so every hour you spend baking for someone worths more than anything you can buy with money. And that is brilliant. You are an awesome bloke. Do not let bitter people tell you differently. This, 100% this. I tell people that I hate when people waste my time. I can make more money, but I can't make more time, so if you waste mine, you get less of it. The fact your girlfriend appreciates what you do this much is a very good sign. Your girlfriend is so sweet and appreciative, she's a keeper also, not the butthole 100%. You're a keeper too. Not the butthole. Girlfriend definitely a keeper. Family not so much, at least I hope they don't force original post into a her or them situation. I know who I would pick. I know too, but he's 16 and probably lives at home, so I hope it doesn't come to that. It could eventually. Perhaps to the benefit of all. In 2 years or so? Jesus, that seems like quite the overreaction based on a snapshot into this kid's life. Yeah, on God, his girlfriend made him a pastry Pokédex. Laughing my butt off. Got to bake/eat 'em all. Hijacking this to say Op's girlfriend is an entire angel. Holy crap, she sounds so incredibly kind and loving. I've seen so many posts about people thinking they're entitled to someone else's cooking and throw fits over it. Of course someone cooks for their partner, it's a fun activity for them. If your family wants a live-in chef, tell them chefs make good money and such services require appropriate payment. Cool face. My family used to like offering my food to other people without asking, like one of my mom's friends would come over and she'd randomly be like, "Ooh, Karen, take some of Flora's soup home. It's so good." They would do this with baked goods too. I bought my own ingredients and would spend hours in the kitchen cooking. Yes, it's good. I made it to last me several days because I'm too tired to cook regularly and I need my veggies. I am glad I moved finally. Got to love people who think anything in the family household is theirs to pass around and give away. My husband's brother sold the family's childhood game consoles because he wanted to buy a rug off the street corner. Which he dumped later anyway. Sometimes it's good to keep family at a distance, lol. Yeah, the family could have been like, "Aw, that's sweet, can we try some of your baked goods sometime?" And I bet original post would have been like, "Sure." The resentment seems completely unnecessary. Especially since original post has made 100 desserts and they're only now just learning about it. Doesn't seem like they were paying that much attention. So, when's the wedding? I would have been happy you had found someone so thoughtful and appreciative. Although I probably also would have asked you to throw me a baked bone now and then. NTA, your mom and sister are like bad Disney villains. NTA. As a fellow baker, F them. It's really annoying when you have a skill and family thinks they're entitled to the benefits of said skill. Had my brother's dad expect me to make a wedding cake for his daughter at one point. For free, mind you. You should have made like a weird powder from the box cake, and when they complain, tell them that that's the kind of cake people get for free. My mother always told me that it's rude to ask your friend for a favor regarding their profession. Don't ask your baker friend for a free cake for your events, unless everyone brings something to a dinner party or something and the baker already plans to bake, so they ask for special requests. See, I thought about something like that, but then I'd have to waste money and time. And trust me, neither of those two are worth the effort I'd put forth. They aren't even worth a powder box cake? What a statement, the power. Have a nice day. Yeah, their dad is pretty entitled, but the daughter, that's another can of worms on her own. I count beans for a living, and if I had a bean for every time an acquaintance or family member asked me for tax advice, I'd have a whole crapload of beans. I'm happy to tell you general crap, but I am not a tax accountant. I don't do my own taxes. The amount of effort and research I'd have to do to tell you how to handle the taxes on your ex-girlfriend's sister's lake house burning down is so much something I'm not going to do. Yes. I'm a bookkeeper, AA, and everyone assumes I'm a CPA with tax expertise and will totally do their taxes for free. No. I know a bit more than maybe the average Joe, but, no. I'm a CPA and not the tax kind. Yeah, I passed the test, but dude, I audit crap. I don't know how to maximize your return or plan your estate. I feel your pain. When I have friends in the profession of something I need, I always ask for advice from them and out if they know someone, or could help me find someone because I want it done well. Then, if they want to do it, they know I don't expect it for free, but they don't feel obligated to do it if they don't want. For example, one of my best friends is a photographer, and I needed to get someone to do family photos. We traded websites etc. of photographers back and forth, because she knew what to look for in a good photographer. I do the same when people ask me to tutor their kids. I'm a teacher, LT'll help them figure out what their kid needs and help them find someone legit, but I don't want to do it myself, usually. And I absolutely wouldn't do it for free. I just imagine people lining up outside your door every tax year. My family is the same way. They think that since I'm good at art and getting an art degree, they're allowed to demand me draw them anything they want, and if I even mention how they are going to pay me, they get super offended. They also seem to think that since I'm good at one or two types of art, I can do every single type of art really well, which is simply not true. My grandma got mad at me when she forced me to decorate a blank shirt and it turning out bad even though I had never decorated a shirt in my life. She thought I purposely made it bad just because I'm good at drawing. I've had this happen so many times. I paint in acrylic on primed canvas and that's it. Yet, people will think I can sculpt, make jewelry, make comics, draw in pen and ink, decorate cakes, etc. It's mind-boggling. I usually have to explain why it's a no by using their job as an example. Oh, you're an electrical engineer, can you make me a bridge? You're a pilot, can you sail this boat? You brew beer, can you make whiskey? Etc. Sometimes, they actually can, but it gets the point across that what they're asking seems related but is a whole other skill set. I feel you. I'm a performer and literally everyone expects me to sing at every event, no matter how low-key or impromptu. Same thing for my sil, who is a photographer. She is expected to not be at the party, but be the free photographer. I'm a clarinetist and I got forced into singing at my grandmother's funeral by my family because I'm good at music. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I was asked to sing at a friend's mother's funeral. Singing at funerals is brutal on its own, never mind when you, even remotely, know the person/family. I hope you were able to get the closure you needed from the funeral as a grieving family member, and not in work brain the entire time. But think of the exposure. And look how much GF appreciated what you had been doing. She secretly made a scrapbook for you of everything you made for her. Now that is sweet and you are NTA. It really is so wholesome and nice. How the family could be so negative about such a sweet thing. The original post and his GF are literally peak r/traits being. They are goals. Reddit link. What does that name even mean? It's become kind of a meme to ask if the straights are okay after half of a straight couple talks about something toxic happening in their relationship. Perfect example of the original sub for those who are confused. Web link. It's a reference to r/or the straight sock, which is a subreddit dedicated to chronicling the casual toxicity that sometimes accompanies heterosexual relationships. Things like men calling their wives their ball and chain, women making jokes about never giving blowjobs after marriage, basically the whole genre of humor and memes where the punchline is dysfunctionality in a heterosexual relationship. Reddit link. That is sweet and you are NTA. Kind of reminded me of You Are Not the Father. And then the guy pops off. I agree that it's really sweet. I kind of cried a bit at the beauty of it. Given you're living at home and your mom and sister had to have been at least somewhat aware of the frequency of your baking, 100 dishes in 2 years seems like roughly once a week. Often enough to be noticeable. It's really strange to me that they're just deciding to be mad about this now. Surely if this was a real issue it could have been raised much earlier. NTA. I can't imagine they didn't get to try a cookie here or there as well. I also love baking and my family knows that they're welcome to grab whatever looks ugly if I'm baking for an event, specific person. So sounds like they're upset that original post didn't specifically bake stuff for them as often as he did for his girlfriend, which is such a strange thing to get upset over. So, if he's still living at home, who's paying for all the baking supplies? If he's taking it out of the family's kitchen, I think his family has every right to be upset. They didn't indicate anything of the sort. Also, 100 items in 104 weeks is about baking once per week. That is not very expensive. Granted, we don't know exactly what he's been baking or what the financial situation of his family is, but I highly doubt that is a justified reason to be upset. Dude, that definitely is expensive. I do baking a lot and if it's not bread, but fresh ingredients like milk, cream or butter, this will add up to quite a sum. Edit. Never mind, I read original post buys them from his money. I grew up very broke. I made cookies twice in a month and it raised the gas bill, which I hadn't even thought about as a teen. Yes, like I said, we weren't given any indication of his family's financial situation. But if it truly was that desperate, I think someone would probably have mentioned something to him. But it's been 2 years. If that was an issue, they could have mentioned that earlier. Edit. Op has stated that he buys his own ingredients, so it's not about the money here. Keep in mind this is his mom and sister. I sincerely doubt this is about who's paying for what. It's possible that it was done at his GF's house. That might be why she has photos of him baking all of them. Op said he has a job and pays for his ingredients. Op commented somewhere else that he has a job. He's 16. Likely has a job, so it's possible he's paying for his own baking supplies. Nah, they don't have any reason to be upset. I'm going to say nah actually. I don't think you're intentionally ignoring them, but you're 16. You live with your family, there's probably a pretty good chance they're providing for you. Can you really blame them for being a little bit upset by the amount of work you've put in for your girlfriend that you haven't for them? I mean, I'm sure no one could expect you to make them 100 desserts, but you live there. I'm assuming they're making you dinner. Surely you could. Make dessert? I don't think you're the butthole. You're 16. This kind of thing doesn't usually occur to teenagers, but I don't think they're the butthole for asking. In another comment thread, original post said he has a job and buys his ingredients himself. If Op's family wants him to make desserts for them, that's a completely acceptable request. The issue is that isn't what they did. They didn't ask him for anything and acted rudely towards him for not doing something they never asked. This isn't original post being ignorant to his family's interest in his hobby, it's Op's family taking no interest in his hobby but acting entitled to his hobby's rewards. I bake a lot for my girlfriend and her family too, and sometimes don't bake as much for my own family. When my family wants me to bake something for them, or see me make something that looks especially good for my girlfriend, then they respectfully ask if I'd be willing to make it again for them. The best part about baking is that there's no limit to how many times you make the same thing. People who didn't get to partake of it the first time don't need to act like they were entitled to it, they just need to ask if it could be made again so that they can partake of it. There's no conflict here that isn't being completely invented by Op's family. But 2 years is so long to not include your family in your hobby. At the very least, it seems Op's relationship with his family isn't normal. No, he doesn't owe his family anything, and I'm not saying that, but to go 2 years without ever once trying to show off your hobby to your parents? At 14, I was trying to show my parents everything I did as if their approval meant life to me. I can't imagine getting so heavily into a hobby and not wanting to show my mom or dad, can you? Doesn't that seem at least a little fishy or off to you? He's the kid, it's the mom's responsibility to include herself in her child's hobby. When people ignore me when I'm enthusiastic about something, I keep it to myself and only share, which is vulnerability, with those I trust because they're encouraging. I'm guessing mom here has a history of inappropriate reactions and selfishness. So you're saying Op's relationship with his family isn't normal, just like what I just said? Edit. I don't know why I'm being downvoted when I still don't think original post is a butthole and just that his family has major communication problems. Is the moment your close relative shows you a precious, thoughtful, emotional gift the moment to address it? If so, is it fair or reasonable to do so by ignoring the gift and the feelings of the gifted by getting pissed off? No, in my opinion. Right? And I don't see his family showing him any kind of appreciation for his talents. Is there any info he baked for his family too? You can't appreciate if you never received any of his baked goods. I don't get this idea that because parents chose to have kids and do the bare minimum by providing for them that those children are then obligated to the family. And no, I'm not a teenager or a child. I can totally get if this was an issue of original post not helping to maintain the house or whatever else. But we're talking about a 16-year-old baking his girlfriend treats as a sign of affection, and instead of encouraging that healthy relationship, they get upset at him. Even if they are hurt, they need to be adults and express their feelings in a healthy manner and not hold the fact that they provide for him over his head. Of course they provide for him, they chose to create a life and bring it into the world. Op buys his ingredients, and I find it hard to believe that over 2 years they never got so much as a bite of a cookie. But even if original post is specifically making small 1 or 2 person sized batches and not sharing, they need to express their feelings to him in a better way. That makes them the I just think this is a bit of an overreaction. It's dessert, not asking him to quit school and get a job or something. I don't think there's any buttholes here. The point is that they didn't ask. It sounds like the mom just blew up at him when he was excitedly showing her the scrapbook. Something that a nice person could try is looking through the scrapbook with him and saying, "These look really good. I didn't know you had worked so hard to learn this. Would you bake something like this for us sometime? I'd love to try this one." I get where you're coming from here, but disagree. Original post is young and in love and is crafting gifts for his girlfriend. At some point, a parent has to realize their kid, a fledgling, about ready to leave the nest, and of course is going to lavish more affection on a partner than them. When I was Op's age, my mom said almost the same thing to me, except about poetry and artwork and intricate cards I'd make him, not food. She snapped at me, asking why I didn't do stuff like that for the family. It was because I was inspired to create for my boyfriend, not just inspired to create in general. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.